Hello and welcome to the Schola Progenium. Today we've got a battle report for you, a classic between me and Mordian Glory. I've got my Blood Angels, he's got a combination of Mordians and Steel Legion. So all of the cool stuff is going on today.
This is going to be a joint exercise between the 234th Armageddon Mechanized Infantry and the Mordian 50th Rifles. So
you can see I'm just setting them up on the other side of the table now. My Doom. A lot of infantry there, a lot of tanks. Now, this is we've got to apologise because we haven't been doing as many battle reports as we would like to over the last couple of months. Just been busy with work and life and that kind of thing. But we decided to get together and get some battle reports done, have some fun, have a good afternoon this weekend, and that's what we're going to do. So we thought, got to be the classic armies. We've got Death Watch, we've got Gene Stealers, we've got we've got Knights, we've got all these different armies to choose from the two channels. But let's just go El Clasico. Blood Angels versus Imperial Guard. That's where we started. So I'll take you through my 2K right now. Now, I don't know about you guys out there, you Blood Angels, but I find myself when I'm writing a list often in a catch-22 at the moment. That's not to be negative, I'm just sort of discussing my mindset when I'm writing a list, which is, I want a little bit of armour in there, but then I'm very aware that I'm not taking good armour compared to the meta when I'm facing against other armies. And again, I need my troops in there because I want to get those command points, especially as we are such a command point intensive army when we're getting our captains running around smashing stuff as they want to. But again, our troops a little overcosted and a little underpowered compared to a lot of stuff out there in the meta. So today I've tried to build an army that hopefully sort of overrides those issues, and through building a balanced, almost classic white dwarf army, if you know what I mean. A couple of rhinos, land raider, a couple of predators, some characters, some shootiness, some choppiness. Hopefully that will overcome this situation. I've got a couple of transports in there to hopefully keep my troops safe so I can use them when they are going to be at their most optimal, so they don't just get killed in a firefight at the beginning of the game. I've got a decent amount of choppiness, but not so much that I'm absolutely relying on an assault to win the game against every army. And again, I've got some shootiness, some dakka, but not so much that I'm absolutely relying on that dakka to win me the game. So in a bit more detail, I've got 2 battalions, that's 6 units of 5 Space Marines, Tactical Marines, and I have 2 plasma guns in 2 of the squads, 1 plasma gun in 2 squads, so to speak. I've got 2 rhinos there, just as is. For my elite, and they're led by a chaplain and 3 captains, and I'll go into the characters in a bit more detail in a second. I've then got my standard unit of 12 Death Company with 2 Thunderhammers and 4 Power Swords. They can take on anything that they want to. In my heavy support, I have a Land Raider just with heavy bolters and last cannons, just bare bones, so to speak. And I've sort of taken him because I feel Predators are just too vulnerable. It's just the case. So having a Land Raider, he's still rocking as many last cannons and almost as many heavy bolters as 2 Predators, but with that toughness save, with that 2-up armor save, I'm hoping it puts my opponent in a catch-22 situation where they either focus down that Land Raider but the Predators actually survive and actually get to do some shooting for once, or they shoot the Predators and I manage to smash enough of their long-range firepower with my shooting that by the time they focus on my Land Raider they can't crack him because he's tough. So that's the idea, but again, we'll see. And then if I look at my characters in a little more detail, I of course have a chaplain and he's just got a jump pack and nothing extra. I have 2 captains, both with storm shields and thunderhammers, and they have both had a command point spent on them for the Death Company upgrade, and then I've spent a further command point to give Alexander Garviel, which is this guy here, the sort of Macedonian pikeman style attacker captain. He is going to have the Hammer of Baal, so that knight stick and stick, as I often refer to it, can hit on 2s, re-rolling 1s. And then my other captain here has the standard relic that comes free with the army, and that is of course Angel's Wing, so you can't overwatch him, which should be useful against those Mordians. I've then taken just this captain here because I needed characters for my battalions, etc., for all my to fill my 3 detachments, and I just like this guy. I haven't used him in a while, and I haven't used him since we had Angels of Death with that extra attack on the charge, so I want to try him out. I'm pretty excited to use him, and he should hopefully help me hack through some guard. I've got a lieutenant there just to help my backline shooting, and then I have Sergeant Ix. Now this guy is a stand-in, custom-built proxy Eversur assassin, and as you can see, he's got all the same equipment that an Eversur assassin would have. He's got the little claw, he's got his machine pistol, melter bomb, and a power sword, and he counts as a Blood Angel sort of sergeant, but a named character. He's got a lot of fluff, and I've got an independent video on my channel all about this guy, building him and writing the lore behind him and that kind of thing, and you can check that out if you want. But he is an Eversur assassin. So I've spent 5 of my 14 command points going into this game. So I'll have 9 out of 14 left to play with. So here we have the field of battle after deployment. We've got the Blood Angels facing off in 2 groups against a imposing and intimidating guard front line. We've got the Mordians holding one flank on the left and the Steel Legion on the right. A bit of segregation going on in this force here, a little bit of suspicion of each other. You know, are they the Gene Stealer cult? Are they the Gene Stealer cult? Who knows? Is everybody the Gene Stealer cult? Well, yes, according to the Blood Angels.
The Mordians aren't going to work alongside people who don't have spiffy uniforms. So the fact that they're even allowing the honour of being on the battlefield with them is, you know, good enough.
Is what they say. Gene Stealer cult. Anyway, so we're playing Scouring. We've got 6 objectives set up, 1 on each major bit of terrain. So 1 there, 1 over there, 1 in that middle piece of terrain over here, and then number 4, and number 5, and number 6 under this tower. There's no actual central objective. So we've got an interesting little battlefield set up here, and we are in, what's the deployment type called again?
I think it's Spearhead Assault. It's Pointy Dawn of War.
Pointy Dawn of War, Spearhead Assault. So we're 18 inches, 9 inches from the centre each. Now on the Mordian side of things, we have his sort of long range fire bit that he likes to hold an objective with, just set up on objective 5 with his mortars along the back line here. A little bit of space here for some potential deep strike shenanigans, but I think he'll be pushing forward on my heavy support facing off against him. He's got the Ogrins in that line as well, but I know Tim loves to assault forward with these guys, so he's just basically going to push on that flank. Then in the middle he's got his Sentinels and a Steel Legion Chimera, and he's got his tanks just over here. Now these are in range of my Land Raider, but not in range of my Predators. But as Tim did not notice when he was deploying, he sort of did notice and then forgot, that there were these 2 Smash Captains just hidden here, and they are 32 inches away, which means if I use the Death Company jump forward with one of them, and then move 12 inches, I can get within a 8 inches, which is 7-inch charge from the Demolisher Cannon here, which is a tasty, tempting little target. I don't know. I will be exposed to a lot of firepower, but at the same time I will be out of the way of all these last guns. So we'll see about that. Anyway, so let's roll off. So do the inferior objective for us, Tim.
So I'd just like to shameless plug. Introducing the new Mordian Glory green dice. This is a custom order, so if you don't have them, tough shit because you missed out. So these will be getting posted out very shortly, guys. These are a couple that I got for myself, but everyone who did order, you'll be receiving them very shortly. So the superior objective.
Number 2.
That's that one.
Hey!
Ooh.
Oh, the one I'm going to be moving off.
Yeah,
excellent.
That's interesting because you probably didn't want it. You probably wanted to be like 3 or something.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the inferior objective, the one which is traditionally my objective.
And yes, 5, which is the one Tim has decided to castle upon. Excellent.
As is tradition.
As is my tactical foresight, the Blood Angels, you know.
As always.
Perhaps these guys are not Gene Stealers after all, because their planning doesn't seem to have gone
generations in the making.
Yeah.
We did it, you know, this morning on a napkin.
Yeah. Right, okay, so do you want to see if you can steal?
Seizing the initiative.
Please don't. I really need you to not.
The green dice of power, come on, debut, here we go.
Yes, very much not stealing
CP
the initiative.
No.
And still no.
Now
I'm still taking that CP off.
CP reroll!
Well, you know, you've wasted a 6 there. You're not having the steal, so we'll be back with you after the Blood Angel's first turn. So for those of you who have pre-ordered the Mordian Glory dice, I have some very good news for you. These dice are absolutely insane. I did not... I hit and wound with every heavy bolter shot.
And last cannon.
And last cannon, bar 2 last cannons.
No, one last cannon, 2 heavy bolters.
One last cannon, 2 heavy bolters in my whole shooting phase. And
wasn't a lot of rerolls.
Wasn't a lot of rerolls at all. Tim made an insane amount of saves on this squad here, and obviously spent 2 command points at the end to keep the one last guy manning the last cannon alive. So I didn't get first strike, and just fired heavy bolters, so 18 heavy bolter shots into that guardsman squad. And Tim had of course also spent 2 command points for prepared defences, so everything had cover.
And
then moved, advanced and popped smoke with my 2 rhinos over here, and I was so sorely tempted to charge forward, to double move with, is it Forlorn Fury?
I think it's Forlorn Fury, yeah.
The double move, the move 12 before the game starts, and then move 12 in your movement phase with one of my smash captains, and to deep strike on Wings of Fire with my other into Tim's front lines, but I just knew I would just eat too much Overwatch. And my Warlord's the one that can't be Overwatched.
Yeah.
I didn't want to put him here because even though I could kill one tank and get an alpha strike, I would just eat so much Daka. And with a 3-up save, that puts him at a real risk. So
also the way those dice were rolling, you didn't know what this Demolisher Cannon was going to get.
Yeah, just absolutely. And then so Tim rolled the dice to see how many shots would he got, and he got 6, and then obviously would have just absolutely 6 shots with this Demolisher Cannon, spent a command point to hit on 5s, with his Overwatch could just absolutely flattened a captain, so just wasn't going to be worth it. So I didn't charge there, didn't Forlorn Fury, anything like that, I just stayed back, and it was a good decision. So a sort of reserved advance with the Blood Angels. They've taken this midfield objective here, they've abandoned the most valuable objective, and the armour, although it's done... Oh, I forgot to mention, the Land Raiders did really well, and he put 10 wounds on the Vanquisher, didn't quite finish him, and the Preds fired 4 last cannons off at this Chimera, but Tim was just rolling well with his armour saves, and only managed to slip 4 damage through on a d6 with my Predator last cannons. So, spread damage, haven't actually managed to kill anything of Tim's, and I also haven't taken a dent out of these forces, and I know they're going to be advancing onto these objectives. So, it's, a reserved start for the Blood Angels, but hopefully that will pay off. I don't want to sacrifice my captains too early. I need to keep these guys smashing away for as long as I can. So let's see what the Guard can do in their turn 1. So the Guardsmen pushed forward, a general advance from the Mordian, showing the Steel Legion how to move forward in perfect rank and file. The Steel Legion just sort of sat back, watched and popped a few shots. What was you thinking with your movement over here, Tim?
I just needed to screen out the main body of force from any potential death company. Now I know Johnny's very good at getting these guys in to play, so no matter what I do, I'm going to struggle to stop them. But if I could inconvenience them and make him maybe deploy in a way that's not quite ideal for him, that's great. So these couple of squads here, I know I'm sacrificing the coolest mod in my army, the drummer guy, but it is worth it because we can inconvenience the death company. That's great.
Yeah, just don't want the death company to do what they want to do. And then they basically fired off. He gave the orders forwards for the Emperor so he could still shoot after advancing, but nothing came of it when he was shooting at the Land Raid. He got a couple of wounds through with last guns, but made my saves. And then a Predator there also took 3 wounds from a missile shot and 1 wound from the mortars, in fact. Tim got a load of 5s and 6s and with 1 mortar blast, but the others got nowhere and it balanced out. So all in all, he secured his inferior objective, really valuable, and he popped off a load of shots over on this flank. The sort of first thing that he did actually in terms of his shooting phase was he popped off this Demolisher. He only rolled 2 shots, but he hit with both. He wounded with both, despite the smoke launchers, and then he got 4 on each, so a really solid roll of 8 damage onto the Rhino there. And then he overcharged his plasma sponsons, and he's actually do a mortal wound to himself on a 2, because again the smoke launchers made him -1 to hit, but he managed to do ultimately 2 wounds through, which was 4 damage, and finished off that Rhino. And 3 of my guys died when I powered out, and I didn't want to waste a command point on keeping them alive. Got 3 ones, which is pretty painful. He then proceeded to just sling Daka from all of his transports over here into the space, the remaining 3-man and 4-man squad that were here, and just wipe them both out. I didn't even need to roll for battle shock. He just murdered one rhino and its contents. But I've got one rhino still here, and I've got the captains, 2 smash captains just behind. So ultimately I am threatening this flank, and he has taken a few wounds across his lines. So we'll see what the Blood Angels can do in their turn 2. Oh, and this guy hasn't shot yet, he's still thinking. Yeah. So the Blood Angels got there in the end with their turn. It was a struggle with the dice, but through the use of stratagems, we destroyed what we needed to destroy. Destroyed it!
Destroyed it!
We destroyed what we needed to destroy. Anyway, so the Predators started off by firing off their last cannons over at this Chimera here. But they all, I got no wounds through. Tim didn't even have to take any saves. I either got 2s to hit, or I got 2s to wound with the hits that I got. But their heavy bolters did actually really well, and I managed to strip down a few guys over here. I managed to kill off the 1-man last cannon over there, and I did a couple of wounds to the 10-man squad that was in the open here. So the bolters did what they needed to do. This guy popped off his last cannons, and I just thought, I'm not rolling that well, so I will fire all 4 last cannons at the Vanquisher because I just want it dead. And I did manage to destroy it, of course. In fact, I got all 4 wounds through. And did, I think, about 18 damage or something in total. So really walloped him. But I needed to get those 3 wounds. He'd healed him for 1, so he had 3 wounds left, and I just wanted him dead. And he was in cover, so it would have been a decent cover save. Doesn't say, just had to get it done. These guys actually moved forward into the open here, and they rapid fired into the squad that was also here, and they managed to get them down to just 3 guys left. They killed 5 guys off. And then this guy, the Land Raider here, also fired his heavy bolter and killed the last 3 guys off there. So I'd killed a 10-man squad there. These guys in the charge phase then charged in, and they managed to kill 6 of 6. This guy's still here, and 3 there. 6 of the guardsmen in close combat. So overall they racked up 11 kills, which is pretty good. Not got the points back, but they've pushed back. I'm sort of fighting a screen with a screen. I want to protect my vehicles from advancing guardsmen locking me up. So these guys are playing an important role. They managed to kill a lot of guys whilst doing it. On Overwatch, they did actually take a couple of wounds. Managed to save all my wounds. So Tim, even with flamers and that, didn't manage to do any wounds to me. Made all my armor saves, but then he did kill 1 with a power sword.
Oh yeah.
So that was 1 guy down.
People say you shouldn't pay for them. Those people are wrong.
Well, when you've got 5-up Overwatch,
this makes Morty is insane.
It's just insane. You've got 5-up Overwatch to get through, and then you've got power weapons to deal with when you're in there. It's just brutal. And you've got a plasma pistol as well.
I didn't pay for it.
Not on that guy.
I will do though. I think he's earned it.
Yeah, I think he's earned his plasma pistol. Over here, I charged a squad of 5 guys that hopped out of this rhino into this Chimera and this Sentinel, but I lost 4 guys on Overwatch.
Defensive gunners.
Defensive gunners gave them 5-ups to hit. And I lost 4 guys, which was really, really bad. I just couldn't make any armor saves, got loads of 2s. But I managed to lock these guys up, which is good. And this guy also managed to do a wound on the Chimera, so that's nice too. My captains moved forward, and this guy charged solely into the Demolisher Cannon Lehman Russ, and then this guy charged into the 2 Chimeras. I got D3 extra attacks from... What's it called again?
Red Rampage.
Red Rampage, which I put on this guy who isn't my warlord, but he does hit on 2s. So he had 9 attacks in total. 5 base, plus 1 for being Angel of Death, plus 1 for the Death Company, and then plus 3. So, however, he easily tore through the first Chimera, just walloped it like 15 wounds. But then the guy that I put 4 attacks into, he actually got 3 1s on his wounds. He hit with everything, but got 3 1s on his wounds. So I only did 1 wound through. Tim didn't make his 6-up save. 1, dice through, which ends up being 3 damage from the hammer. This guy managed to wallop into the Lehman Russ, but I had 6 attacks. I got 5 hits through, and then I got 4 1s on my wounds. I was like, oh my god, what is going on here? And so I only did 3 damage to him. So I just had to spend the 3 command points for Honour the Chapter. I'm just out of breath. Like this turn has made me out of breath. So he honoured the chapter, 3 command points. He struck again, and he managed to do the damage that he needed and destroyed that Lehman Russ. Tim spent a command point to see if he could to re-roll the explode dice, because it didn't explode initially, but again he failed. So all in all, I managed to kill one Chimera, damage another one slightly, but lock it up so it can't shoot. Tim, did you lose none on your...
I lost one guy, but there's an officer in there, so there's still 10. There was
Still
11.
10. Oh, there was 11. Cool. So we lost one guy when that Chimera exploded. I've killed the tank, so there's a lot less DACA coming into these captains. Now, Tim does have his outflanking unit, and he could bring them in to kill these captains, or he could leave these DACA to try and deal with these captains, and he could bring them in to take on these predators on this flank too. So it's going to be risky, isn't it? I might
bring him in at all.
Or you might not bring him in at all. Because that's the one thing that I didn't mention. I didn't bring in any of my reserves, not my assassin or my death company. I thought, Tim's got too much screening here. He's got too many guys at the moment that can overwatch me. I need to thin him down. I need to hit him in waves, bit by bit. Just slow him down, play the game my way, and hopefully, play it out to the last turn and then seize those objectives. So we'll see how the Guard do in their turn 2.
Yeah.
So turn 2 for the Guard was pretty effective. They consolidated their advances over here. They didn't push too far forward, but they just amassed around this central point here, probably ready to push onto this objective once they've thinned out my back lines. I have a couple of characters down there that can do some nasty stuff to simple guardsmen. The Steel Legion, one unit, all the guys hopped out of their transports, and they all pulled back here to consolidate on this objective, and then they just poured an unholy amount of firepower into my 2 captains here. It came down to the last dice roll, but I just failed one feel no pain, and that was that. Both captains were killed. So that was I played very conservatively on this flank to try and maintain my captains and keep them alive, but it's just not that easy in the face of massed guard infantry guns, because those last guns, even though they're wounding you on 5s and they're hitting you on 4s, you've only got a 3-up save with your storm shield. So that's exactly the tool Tim wants to take down those captains, is mass infantry DACA, and unfortunately it's mass infantry DACA all across the field. So it's tough fight for the captains, but they did kill off some tank commanders. They did some work for me, and they got a couple of chimeras, and they softened up this flank considerably. So they've done what they needed to do. The Guard over on this flank, it took a lot of firepower. Everything from this flank fired in to the infantry here, and he managed to kill off all 4 of them. But that was good for me, because he only then had 2 squads remaining over here. They shot over onto the Predators, and they got 1 missile through, I think, that did 5 wounds. It took me from 4 to 9. So one of my Preds has now taken a big wallop. The Guard, they've it's sort of like the Blood Angels. They've had they've got what they need to do done. They've not pushed too far, but they have really secured their right flank, which is really good news for them. So I've got it's my 3rd turn now with the Blood Angels, and I have my Assassin and I have my Death Company to come in, and both units, because I've saved 2 command points, get a 3d6 charge. The Assassin gets it for free. So I'll be getting some charges in, and hopefully if I can pick my spots right, with a little bit of luck, because I need my dice to heat up. If my dice heat up, I can bring myself back into this game. So let's see what the Blood Angels can do in their turn 3. So first things first, these Tactical Marines in Blood Angels turn 3 hopped out of their little transport, the last 5 Tactical Marines on this side of the board, in rapid fire range of the squad on top of here. And the Death Company deep struck in. There are a 9-inch charge from this guy, so I put my Thunderhammers on that side of the squad. Then there are a 10-inch charge from one squad, and 11 inches, but a 10-inch charge from the 3rd squad here. So I was in range, and I had 2 command points left, so I was saving that 3d6 for those guys. Over on this flank, even though I'm well aware that Sam's going to want to get force of habit. Tim's going to want to get his veterans outflanking on this flank and killing one of my Predators. I just thought I'll hold fast, grit my teeth. I moved this guy up, my lieutenant, so we can at least defend, and I just decided to stand fast and shoot. My other captain in the Terminator armor just ran 5 inches forward, to just hide behind this bit of terrain here. So he's getting closer and closer to those lines. I thought Tim would be well more in my face by now, trying to lock at my tanks, but I think I've managed to hold back the flow of guard just. So Tim's not prioritising taking care of these tanks with his infantry. He's got bigger fish to fry, and so my captain has not actually had to use his lightning claws yet. He also dropped in an Everser just here. Well, he's 9 inches away, and he then in the shooting phase shot off at the mortars and only managed to do 1 damage. My last cannons, again, I rolled double two on my predators with their last cannons. I was literally praying for the Emperor to see my need for his light, and I was shooting at the Ogrins, but of course just missed. How did I miss these big fat slabs of meat? I don't know, but they did anyway. Of course, one was going to be hit on 5s anyway, but the double two just seemed to rub it in.
You are trying to win the flashlight war.
Yeah. So. It's not, maybe big flashlights versus lots of little flashlights. Anyway, they're holding there, they're firing off some fire, and they did some real work with their heavy bolters, as they have been doing all game. Between these guys and the Land Raiders heavy bolters, they just chewed through a 10-man squad, just absolutely destroyed them. And then the Land Raider fired off 4 last cannon shots, again got double two on with one of his sponsons, but the other 2 slapped into the meat of a Ogrin each, and both did 3 wounds and 4 wounds respectively, killing 2 Ogrins. Would have really liked to just murder those Ogrins this turn, but it was not to be. Anyway, these guys obviously, as I said, they exposed themselves, but they did then rapid fire into this squad. They managed to kill 5 guard off, which was good work from the tactical marines. My Death Company then, with their 20 shots from rapid firing bolters, sprayed into this squad as well and did a further 3 kills, taking that squad down to 2, just reducing the amount of incoming Daka that I have to take. The then it was down to the charge phase. The Death Company charged in and they made me sweat, but they got that 10 inches that they needed to hit all 3 squads. Now I decided in the end to split 1 Thunderhammer onto one of the squads of infantry and just hit the Chimera, because he'd already taken 4 wounds, or what was it, 3 wounds. I thought, I'll chance it. But unfortunately, Tim got a 6 on one of his armour saves, so this guy's on 9 wounds. But the rest of my Death Company did some really good work. I had 1 Thunderhammer, 1 Chainsword and 1 Power Sword on 1 squad of guardsmen, and I killed 8 of them. And then I had 3 Power Swords, so that was 12 attacks within range of the Chaplain, so re-rolling, and I managed to put 6 wounds through on Tim, so I did not roll very well, but unfortunately Tim can't. He did spend 2 command points to keep 1 squad in the game, and he spent 1 command point to roll D3 to keep another squad in the game, but you can't save them all with stratagem, so those guys ultimately did die from battle shock, so it all balanced out in the end. So on the left flank, we are treading water. We've kept these guys in a bit of cover, and we've managed to massacre the majority, 26 guardsmen in 1 round on this flank. So that's some good work put in there. Over on this flank, the Everser then struck in close combat, and he managed to kill 9 guardsmen. He had 8 attacks on the charge, he killed 5 guardsmen, got 5 more attacks, hit with everything, wounded with everything. Tim failed all his saves, and it killed. Oh, he made 1 save, so the missile launcher stayed in. And he needed a 1 on his battle shock test to stay on his morale test to stay in the game, and of course he got that 1. So out of 4 units that could have potentially run away, he spent 3 command points to keep 2 in the game, and he passed with 1 miraculously. So only 1 squad fled over here. But all in all, I have thinned out the guard lines. I've just got to keep. I know this seems like he's on his own over here, but you can't really take much shooting at all, apart from the mortars. And And I really need to keep these guard thinned down so they can't push forward and take control of the board. So Blood Angels turn 3 is done. We've hit done just enough. That's sort of been the motto of this game, just enough. So we'll have to see if the guard can push forward and take the Blood Angels out of the game and secure this battlefield, or will the Blood Angels cling on further and secure a last-minute victory, which is what I like to do against Tim, especially with his guard. That's what happens classically with the Blood Angels versus the guard. So we'll see what happens after guard turn 3. Tim sort of dedicated his resources exactly where he wanted to, and you know, preparation meets opportunity. A little bit of luck from these guys managed to round off a very nice, tasty turn for guard turn 3 as we enter the later phase of the game. So first of all, everything basically opened fire on my Death Company. They managed to take me down to just one guy after Battle Shock. I lost one guy in Battle Shock. So I've got one Thunderhammer left. These guardsmen shot up here, and I got 2 1s on my armour save, so after just a few last guns and a little bit of extra fire.
One of the Ogres killed one. He was just like,
yeah, the Ogre killed one. Last guns killed another, and so I've got 3 guys left, but I needed these guys to stay alive. So the Death Company taking a lot of fire and absorbing a lot of fire, means that at least I've got these guys to control objectives near a transport as I go into turn 4. So they are useful. These guys over here didn't actually get everything that Tim wanted off. He spent a command point so that 6s would give him extra shots, but then he didn't roll a single 6. So that was lucky on my part. And ultimately, after a few plasma shots and a few last gun shots, he'd done 5 wounds to that Predator. However, there was more guard shooting to come. This guard missile launcher, who's been doing excellent work all game, fired another shot off, hit, wounded, I failed my armour save, and another 5 wounds shot through, cracking the Predator armour. So I was again a serious bit of damage for the Blood Angels.
This guy has hit every turn, wounded every turn, and got at least 4 damage every turn.
And just a 4 up for me, I just haven't been able to make a 4 up. And it's just, you know, it's been really effective. When you can shoot enemy vehicles and he's got that D6 on the damage when it goes through, if you can target properly and be clever with who you shoot, you know, just slip a couple of shots through certain vehicles, you know, not the toughest vehicles out there, but in certain vehicles this guy's really nice. And also against, you know, knights, if you've if you've got a knight and you're playing against multiple knights and they've already spent the command point or 3 command points to increase their iron shields.
A couple of cheeky crack missiles.
Always
shave off a few wounds.
Yeah, against another knight, shoot at a separate knight with your missiles, because then you'll be taking them down to their 5 up invuln. So it's useful to just sort of, you know, you've got those missiles there. They're not your main anti-armour, but you know you can slip shots through, and those add up over the course of the game. That's really, really taken a toll on the Blood Angels forces. And then as I said, those 3 last cannons, just as a sort of piece de la resistance, or you could say the coup de grace against the Blood Angels, all hit, all wounded. You got 3 through on the Land Raider and popped the Predator that was previously wounded that turn. So I went from having 2 Preds looking alright, relatively healthy, 1 taking 5 wounds, to now just 1 Pred left on 10 wounds. So the Guard have done really, really well there. The final thing to say was that he sent the Commissar in here on a heroic charge. Round the corner, he'd seen his men get butchered and thought, right, I've got to investigate. Ran around that corner, but that was the last that was seen of him. He swung his power fist once, missed. Swung his power fist twice, missed. The Eversor assassin just running up walls, jumping off the ceiling, flipped round and then just struck the Commissar and did all Tim failed 4 saves in the end and just killed that Commissar off. So that was a good end to the turn on the Blood Angels side of things. So it's now Blood Angels turn 4. We're lacking resource. We have got a little bit and we are near objective. So, you know, if I'm clever, I'll see what we can do. So the Blood Angels have moved forward with their final remaining resources, and they're managing to hold on with some decent combats there that turn 4. So if we look at it in the wider picture, the guardsmen that were moving over here to these objectives strayed just a little too close to the captain's lair, and he moved 5 inches out ready to pounce on the 5-man squad that were just tailing these guys here. I then kept all my Predators and Land Raiders still, or all my, I say, he says, with the plural. I kept my 1 Land Raider and my knackered Predator here, and I moved forward. These guys moved 9 out of the Land Raider, my last 5 Tactical Marines are over on this side of the board, and they were 9 inches, so an 8-inch charge from the Guardsmen with the plasma here. They rapid fired into the Guardsmen and killed 4 off. Then the Lieutenant rapid fired into them and killed another 2. So I was doing some really good work against those Guardsmen. And the Lieutenant moved out. He was about a 6-inch charge from these guys and about an 8-inch charge from the officer there. Then we got some shooting done. Unfortunately, I continued the tradition of rolling 2s to hit with my last cannons, and I shot 4 last cannons into the Ogryns here. 2 into here and 2 into the Chimera there, but failed to get any hits. And then I fired this guy on 5s, and he did actually manage to get, I think, 2 hits, but then failed to wound on the
he got a hit and
Ogryns.
then got a 2
He got one hit on a 5, and then he got 2 to wound. So it's, the heavy armor, I don't know why I take it. Well, I feel like, you know, it's time to sort of, for the next couple of months, just maybe start taking knights as my heavy support and take some soup, because...
To be fair, you've been using your pure infantry Blood Angels for a while. It's always nice to mix things up a little.
Yeah, it's nice to mix things up, but I feel like the Blood Angels heavy support at the moment just isn't doing its thing. But anyway, so it's been a good turn anyway. This guy fired off his bolters, but he just failed to do anything, which is understandable because, you know, he's basically got nothing left. He's been really badly knackered. However, this guy fired off some heavy bolters and actually managed to kill this squad down to 1 man, which was really effective. So that was really good. And then we got onto the assault phase. One thing to say, the officer did chuck a cheeky melter bomb into this officer, but I only managed to do 2 wounds to him.
Iron Star of Mordium.
Yeah, the Iron Star of Mordium. Although I did 4 wounds, which was enough to kill him when he failed his Overwatch Invuln save. He got 2 feel no pains.
2 feel no pains.
So he only took 2 wounds. The Iron Star of Mordia coming in there. So my cheeky melter bomb didn't work. The officer then did in the assault phase. He charged just a few inches up to the 10-man guardsman here. He killed 6 with his first round of fighting. Then he struck again because they get to do that for free. That's an officer special rule. And he did enough to kill like 5 or 6 more. And then he just dropped 3 inches down with his consolidate below that level, so he can't be seen by Overwatch. So it was just like dancing around, moving in and out of line of sight, cutting people's throats. It's been really, really cool. And he's killed 2 infantry squads and a commissar at this point. He has taken 2 wounds. He's been nicked with a couple of stray bolter rounds.
3 wounds.
3 wounds, but last rifle rounds. But thus far, he has just taken heads. So I've really thinned the guard over on this flank here with that ever, so I was really hoping he would manage to do that, just because it reduces Tim's ability to just spread all over the board. My one main worry now is that he's got these officers here. They can just order themselves to move, to sprint all over objectives, really ruin my day. So we're going to the guard turn 4 now, but they are, you know, looking low on resources. The Death Company here just totally flubbed it. He charged into here, but couldn't do any wounds. This guy remains on 9, and this chaplain over on this flank just charged. He shot his bolt pistol, killed 1 guy here, and then charged into the officer down here, just beat him to death with his Crozius, no problem, no questions asked. So my few resources are locking up and reducing that Dacre and his weight of fire that Tim relies on. So, you know, all in all, Blood Angels are doing what they have to do. So we'll see what the Guard can do in their turn 4. Come to the end of the Guard turn, so I'll bring you up to date very quickly, and then because we've just got this epic moment here with the captain standing proud on this sort of plinth here, we're sort of around defending this plinth from the Mordians as they mob him with Ogryns and infantrymen and characters with power fists. Now he's taken 3 wounds so far. Tim poured an ungodly amount of firepower from such a small amount of resources into him, but he is still living. He's still got 3 wounds remaining. In terms of last cannons, Tim shot his sentinels over here. Those sentinels have been doing work all game, but in the end he only got 4 wounds through on the Landy, and the Predator failed to wound. Now he does have this combat over here as well, but he's already given himself an order, fixed bayonets, and shot me. But he didn't do any wounds. That was in the shooting phase, even though he's in close combat.
Yeah.
And he shot his pistol as well, I think.
I stabbed you in
These guys over here, before they charged, they actually shot into the Eversor Assassin. And although he did absorb an ungodly amount of wounds, he kept dodging and diving, and he dodged all these guys' shots. The mortars just sort of the guardsmen worked out that they were never going to hit him with regular last fire, so they just targeted the mortars into the building the Eversor was hiding in and just filled it with high explosive shells, and the fragments and shrapnel just eventually slaughtered the Eversor, took his last 2 wounds off. These 3 pop shots at my chaplain but failed to do any wounds. I was very lucky, and then these guys shot at him, and he failed all of his armour saves, and I got a double shot from a plasma and a double shot from a plasma, and that just killed off the chaplain. I failed all of my invents, my 4-up invents from my Rosarius it's called. So we're on to this combat phase now. So who are you striking with first, Tim?
We can't interrupt, but we're going to shot the Ogre. So they have 3 attacks base, plus they charge. So Avalanche and Muscle, they get another one, plus there's a Priest, they get another one. So there's 20 attacks, plus one of them is the Bonehead. So that's 21 attacks.
Really wish I'd hit these guys with some last cannons at the start of the game.
Hit on 3s. Oh, they've done it again. They always mess it up. These Ogres have never once successfully done a good combat. Look at that.
Oh, that's not great. Hit on 4s, was it?
Hit on 3s.
Hit on 3s.
Look
Oh
at
my
1s
god.
and 2s. They literally do it every single time. Every time it gets to crunch time, these Ogres just fail.
Right, okay.
But they do win on 3s.
Come on, Captain.
They do win on 3s. As again, it's a pretty big slew. In fact, that's so statistically unlikely. Less than half, actually. So that's how bad these Ogres are.
Now I'll roll my saves.
So 3 ups.
3 ups. Come on for the Emperor. Sanguinius, protect me now. And he's
there you go.
more
Literally
than the
happens
captain.
every time I use these Ogres. So you can't interrupt. So I'll go with the Power Fist Lieutenant now. Now he's got 4 attacks because he's within range of the Priest as well.
He's got his arm over his head, ready to wallop me.
So hitting on 4s. Ooh, that's good.
That's very, very good.
Now he's winning on 3s. Ooh, that's not good. 2
Just
fails.
1 wound. Okay.
So 4 up Iron Halo.
Come on, come on.
Oh, he's got it.
Oh yes, come on, Captain. You can do this.
So now I've just got
This is super
this
heroic.
little squad to go in here.
And is this it? This
That'll
is the
be
final
it.
blow.
So I've got 3 attacks from the Power Sword Sergeant. He's got 2 hits.
That's 5 to wound.
He's got a wound. He's got 4 up
wound.
again.
He's got 4 up invuln. Those power swords coming in useful again. But he's got a 6, yes, with the Commissar face coming up.
And then it's
Smile on me, Mordian Commissar.
6 normal attacks. So 3 hits.
Come on.
3 wounds. Oh, if you could just get
wounds.
3 1s here, Johnny, this would be very helpful for me.
Right, okay, left-handed roll. And it's a 2, a 3, and a 4. He's lived through all of that. Right, okay. It's time to strike back. So, just take this camera off me kindly.
Oh, yes. I shall record my own demise.
So I think I will strike 6 times into the Guardsman squad, I believe.
Okay.
Because you've no command points to keep them alive from battle shock.
No, I do. I have him to give them leadership 9.
I'm going to strike the Power Fist. 6
Okay.
attacks.
Okay.
Officer. That's all hitting. And then wounding on 2s because I'm a Blood Angel.
Yep.
And re-rolling any fails. But that is 6 wounds there, Tim.
Now, I don't mean to alarm you, but I'm just going to make all of these 5 up invulnerables.
But it is only 2, 4, so he's killed the
yeah,
officer off. Yes, excellent.
There you
Right,
go.
that's 1 less dude who can run around ordering himself onto objectives. We forgot to mention also, actually, when the officer died, he did explode and do 3 mortal wounds to the
Master Wardens.
Master of Ordnance. So the Master of Ordnance did his job, and he was no longer really a threat. He could have still held objectives, so that was the Eversur just doing even more work for me, so it's just a really good investment for my Blood Angels. Then we finally have this attack over here, Lieutenant versus Officer.
This is the 3rd attempt to try and do a wound to this guy. Oh, he's done it. Right, he's got 3 hits. Okay.
How's he done it?
1 wound. Oh, he's
1
finally got
wound.
a wound out of 9 attempts.
Right,
He's got
Power
a wound.
Sword is it?
Yeah.
So I do take a wound.
Oh,
Now
yeah.
I'm striking back, and I'll have 3 attacks now.
3 attacks.
3 attacks. Now I've hit you with only 1, Timothy. So we'll roll for a wound, and he does get.
Does
he
not
does
wound.
not, because
No
I've been in combat
charges.
for more than 1 round. So it's evening up. The Guardsman is holding his own against my Lieutenant. These guys are here. So we're on to Blood Angel's turn 5 now. So potentially the last turn of the game. It has been an exciting turn. The Guard have done what they needed to over here, essentially to secure this flank. With just 1 pesky Death Company with a Thunderhammer left. But you know, the captain unbelievably held his own in an epic melee in the centre of the battlefield. That was just sick.
I always
that was
roll awfully on camera. So on camera, it'd be dead.
Again, down to the combat phase, we decided to wait again because there's a pretty epic final combat in the centre with the captain being mobbed. So with the Blood Angels turn 5 so far, what I did was I decided to continue honouring the duel over here and ran these guys straight past towards the objective. Rolled an advance and needed a 3 to take that objective, but of course got that lovely delicious 2 and ended up being just a fraction of an inch away from the centre of that objective, unfortunately. These guys decided to stay, well, this guy stayed where he was, but the Land Raider beeped backwards onto that objective, because that's a big lump of meat now holding that objective there. The infantry who had hopped back into this guy ran 9 inches and advanced, and they're just hidden out of line of sight of everyone behind that objective there, holding that objective. So, and then this guy advanced, sorry, he didn't advance, he just jumped. Oh, he consolidated. We forgot to film it, but he actually destroyed that Chimera in Tim's turn. Consolidated, jumped 12 inches up here. He charged into the 3 guys here, having failed with his crack grenade. But Tim killed himself twice. He got 2 1s with both of his plasmas. And just in the sort of panic of a Death Company Thunderhammer guy charging towards him, they both melted themselves. And then this guy, obviously, he still played with fire. He only got 2 hits with the Thunderhammer. He finally killed the sergeant with the bolter. So we are on to this final combat here now, and I have struck against Tim already. We forgot to film it. I just sort of presumed this guy would kill a few guardsmen and then would get killed himself, but he killed 5 guardsmen here with his lightning claws, hit and wounds with everything. No saves allowed because of the lightning claws, AP -2. And then Tim fluffed it with his ogres again.
No, they did okay.
Actually they did okay, but I did alright, and I just passed, got 2 wounds, and now he's got 2, he failed with his power sword, and I've got 2 dice, just normal bayonets, onto that guy. Now we know bayonets, when it counts, bayonets are absolutely excellent pieces of kit.
He's got 1 wound left.
He's got 1 wound, so let's see if he can make 2 2-up saves. Come on, let's do this for the Emperor. And he has died. So unfortunately he's been brought down at the end of the turn. I really did not need that because he was tying a lot of guys up, but so they wouldn't have been able to advance. That is really unfortunate. No command points, no feel, no pain. Gutted. That's really really disappointing there. That was winning me the game, because currently if you actually look at things, Tim's not holding this objective. I'm not holding that objective, but I am holding that one. I am holding this one, although with only 1 Death Company facing off against a lot of Daka. I'm holding this objective and this objective. So it was looking pretty, you know, although a tenuous hold, I am commanding a lot of the key parts, whilst Tim's main massive units are actually on no objectives, slugging out against this captain. So he has done his job, but he has eventually and inevitably rolled that 1 that's killed him off. So Tim, it's onto your turn 5. So it's the end of guard turn 5. Now things are looking pretty interesting. Now I'm not going to show you what the lay of the land is now, but we are going to roll the end of turn dice and see what happens. Now it is a 1 straight away, so the game does not go on. So you guys, let's just look at that. We couldn't resist. We weren't going to look at the points. We couldn't resist adding them up before we rolled the dice, and it is super cool. We were both kind of, we said we were hoping for that before we rolled it, because if you look at things, Tim has this objective here. He's managed to kill my final Death Company man off that objective, which was quite predictable.
Took a lot.
Took a lot though. He actually shot both his guard officers, his Ogrins, his
mortars,
both mortar squads.
And 3 last cannons.
And 3 last cannons.
And a Chimera.
And a Chimera. And it actually came down to the final squad that he shot them, which was the Ogrins. And it came down to 1 final wound with the Ogrins, but I failed it, and I didn't get that feel no pain. So Tim controls that objective. He had moved 2 sentinels onto it anyway, so he would have controlled it anyway, but I was having line breaker with that Death Company, so that's robbed me of a point. Now, over here, Tim has 1 point for the inferior objective. It's being held by his officer with, is that the one with the Star of Mordia?
That's the Iron Star of Mordia.
So the Iron Star of Mordia guy, because of his feel no pain, he managed to survive that mortar blast from the
Melter Bomb Blast.
Melter Bomb Blast from the Eversor Assassin all those turns ago, and now he's managed to claim that point for Tim. Now Tim moved the infantry that were tied in by the captain, and he wouldn't have been able to do that if the captain had saved that wound, because he wouldn't have been able to move and advance. But he's managed to secure that objective, this squad here, so we're not contesting it. And it would have been basically, if I'd got one more inch, it would have been model for model.
Yeah.
He would have been contesting that objective, but Tim has secured that objective there. So it's just really tight across the board. Now, of course, I have managed to hold on to this objective all game with my heavy armour, and I have also got the superior objective over here with my Rhino, and I've got this objective over here with these three guys hiding out of line of sight that just ran forward in the 5th turn. Tim finally, just to say the last thing, we've been so tactical, so tactical in the 5th turn. We've pulled every trick out of the hat. We've tried every little bit of grasping at straws, so we both try and win it. We've just been really, it's been one of those games where everyone's done everything they can to win. And Tim has ran and moved and advanced this normal officer, not his warlord, just into my, now he wouldn't be, he's not 12 inches away, but because we played Pointy Dawn of War, he is actually within 15 inches of that board edge, so he's got line breaker. And what that means is I've got 1-2 points for this objective, I've got 1-2 points for this objective, that makes 4, I've got 4 for the superior objective, makes 8. Now Tim has, last minute, he's managed to grab this off me, although it was always going to be an inevitable conclusion he would hold on to this objective, but the Death Company stopped him from managed to hold over here, so he's got 2 points, 1 point, plus 2 points makes only 5 points for objective, but he has got Warlord, he's got Line Breaker, and he also got First Strike, which remember I failed to get with that one last
2
cannon guy
CP
there.
well spent.
2 CP well spent, so it's actually 8-8, it's bang on even, so with that one that we rolled, that is now the end of the game. It's a bang-on draw, and what an epic, what a deserved draw. I'm really happy that came out that way, because honestly, if I'd beaten you there, it would have been a snatch and grab robbery, because you know you controlled the battlefield. Then I was fighting an uphill struggle, so you know it would have been a real snatch and grab to actually take that win off you. But in the end, I'm just really pleased. I mean, I must have killed, what, 120 guardsman models, probably, a load of tanks.
I have started off with 130 line infantry, and I've got 6 left.
These guys left, so 120 down to 6, I've killed 114 guardsmen, and then he's still got these mortars here. He's lost one guy over here from some random Dakar, bolters, I think, in one of my final turn. But essentially, you know, we've killed each other down to the bare bones. I've just got 8 tactical marines remaining out of a total of 30. I've got 1 Rhino, 1 Land Raider, and 1 Predator. And I have to say, the Predators, they aren't good, but the heavy bolters are excellent. So really, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to find a way to get that many heavy bolters into my army cheaply. Razorbacks. Twin Razorbacks. Twin Razorbacks. But is that going to be a good point? Well, we'll see. We'll see. But it's interesting. The heavy bolters just do so much work against Horde armies. You just need them. And I think the captain just running out from here, just biding his time, then running out, grabbing 1 squad of guardsmen, murderizing another, and just living for like 4 rounds of combat here. He just held you in place.
Stopped you from losing the game.
Yeah, stopped me from losing the game.
Simple as that. Stopped you from losing the game.
And just everything, you know, the Blood Angels played their distractions the way they're supposed to. They bided their time, not dropping their assault units down exactly, just, you know, straight away, not going for that alpha strike, and, you know, just, I wouldn't have anything left by now if that was the case, I think. So, and the guardsmen have just done what they do, you know. They've had multiple units, using those orders to their best advantage, redeploying, holding ground, moving wherever they want to move, being flexible. But I think, you know, it's been a very, very fun and epic game. So many dice rolls really mattered. Like, it wasn't just one dice roll that decided the game. There were so many times when just little bits. The melter bomb over here, that guy surviving over here, you just getting this little advance onto that objective at the end. You know, 2 wounds. I had two ups, and I got 1 fail and killed that, and that guy died. And he should have died. At the end of the game, he was actually holding you there, and he shouldn't have died on that final roll, but it all balanced out in the end.
It balanced out, yeah.
It's epic.
I like to imagine that the Ogryns, like the first round, they just like beat the shit out of him. Didn't actually like damage him, but really damaged his armour, and then finally took a few goes, but they damaged his armour first, and then a cheeky guardsman bayonet managed to find a crack.
Just like the Emperor himself.
Yeah.
You know, that crack in the armour.
Yeah.
Or bayonet went in there, just like Horus's blade, and slayed my honourable captain. But nonetheless, that was an epic moment in the centre of the game. It was just an epic fight overall. Everyone doing everything they can, pulling every cheeky little trick out of the book and manoeuvre out of the book. And it was just a really fluid game. I'm proud of us, Tim.
Do you want to have a end of game last thoughts? Both of us?
That kind of was my last thoughts, but you last thoughts away.
I thought it was a really good game. Probably one of my favourite games that we've done in a long time. Probably my favourite game of 8th edition.
Yeah, it's definitely one of my favourite games.
At least between the two of us, definitely my favourite game of 8th edition.
Yeah, definitely my favourite Guard versus Blood Angels battle of 8th edition.
I thought the Steel Legion and Mordians fighting side by side was actually quite effective.
Oh, they were excellent, weren't they?
And my final thought...
I thought, just to say, like, charging into those lines, because the Steel Legion can still spend that command point to hit Overwatch and a 5-up with one of their units. Realistically, it means that, you know, I don't want to charge the Mordians, but the sort of 1 or 2 units that I'm going to be charging, at least one of them is going to get 5-up Overwatch as well. So it just means you're always getting that 5-up Overwatch.
Yeah.
I think the extra armour really did help, because I would have just been hammering you all game with the tanks otherwise.
Last 2 tiny thoughts were introducing plasma pistols and power swords to the Mordians. I think was really game changing.
Yeah, it was absolutely game changing. Just every so often a plasma pistol or a plasma power sword, come out of nowhere and just kill a guy.
So it was. The plasma pistols added that extra little bit of punch. So, for example, one of them did 2 wounds to that captain. If I hadn't had that plasma pistol,
he would have still been fine.
He would still be fine. So that's really important. And one of the power swords again.
And I find that with my Dark Elder as well, because I use all Witch army. I have 6 squads of 5 guys, and they're just basically blast pistol caddies.
Yeah. And what I noticed with the Mordian squads, when each one had a power sword and a plasma pistol in, it made it really unpalatable to charge them. Because normally you're just facing down one special weapon in there. Like normally it's like a flame or a classic Mordian melter gun. But when you're facing down a squad which has got a plasma pistol and a flamer, and you've got all those blast guns, and then even if you make it, so you're going to lose like 2 guys going in, and then when you make it in, there's a priest in there, meaning that you're taking a whole bunch of regular attacks, and then there's 3 power sword attacks hitting you as well. It makes it so costly to charge a Mordian line. We always, like, apart from a knight, but we always anything else.
Yeah. I mean, it's difficult when, in an assault, with an assault-based army, you admit the fact, to yourself that you're going to take damage on the way in. A bit. But it's supposed to be that, when you get in there, then, you're all good. You make back the investment that you've done. But with those Mordians, it just means that it's a thankless task charging a standard Mordian squad, because that power sword can just kill off a couple of guys. That power fist can just wallop a guy. If you've got a power fist in there, that plasma pistol, useful, just can pop a character that's chopping through your infantry. And the Everser managed to stay out of range. He just hid here, then behind this line of sight blocking, and he was up here, and he was just dodging around, and he only got shot at by maybe 1 squad a turn, and you had to whistle him down. But anything else that was in the open was just murderized, and if they were trying to charge you, they were just getting shot at.
You're consistently killing, you're consistently doing 2 to 3 wounds before someone makes it.
Like my 5-man Tap Marine squad over here that lost 4 guys against a Chimera charging in. Those kinds of rolls can't add up. If you're hitting on 5s, just get a little bit of luck, and all of a sudden you are massacring a unit.
You're blunting a charge.
And it really makes it difficult, because one of my key tactics is, of course, to tie up units by charging little squads in that I don't really, sort of filling the cracks in my army with Tap Marine squads and using those in clever movement to lock stuff up. But when they're just losing 4 guys on the Overwatch, it really sort of hinders that tactic and reduces my options. So all in all, really, really, really viable using all that infantry with just a couple of tanks, just enough to soften me up at the start of the game so that the infantry could survive till the end of the game. I don't think you need your tanks to win the tank duel. You just need them to do enough so that the enemy can't just bully you with their army.
Yeah, I think so. This really, we didn't even plan this, but this really elegantly leads us on to the last thing I want to say, which was simply, this was a really good game with 2 lists, which aren't completely optimised, but I still have teeth.
Yeah,
and that's what 40k is all about.
Yeah, you don't have to go all competitive.
This isn't Iron Hands.
Yeah.
This isn't Iron Hands versus Catachans. This is Mordians versus Blood Angels.
Yeah.
Two factions at the moment which are a little subpar. But, you know, taking things like Ogres, taking things like Land Raiders, taking things like Predators, things that normally you would never take, whenever, you know, when you do it...
When it all comes together...
It makes a really, really nice
list. It's all about having those tactical options. If you cannot win the battle in a head-to-head crunch where you're just going to kill them and wipe them off the board, then, you know, you need to have units that give you tactical options. Land Raiders sitting on objectives, loads of tactical Marines just in little rhinos, you know, not necessarily the best points for kill ability value, but in the end of the game, they let you move all around wherever you need. I drove all the way up the field with my Marines and rhinos to here, and then backed all the way up again, and in the end held 7 points worth of objectives. So with that, I think we'll call it there. So Tim, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
This is Schola Progenium. Thank you very much for your time out there. Goodbye.